Nobody really wants to hear it. Nobody really truly wants the answer, but they ask anyway.
He's scared, and he's slipping and sliding around in my arms like a goddamn baby seal. And God's got a plan. You know what? There is a God. He's got a whole shitload of explaining to do.
Nobody really wants to hear it. Nobody really truly wants the answer, but they ask anyway. They ask anyway, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? And usually you have a rehearsed answer that you can give them that placates, but sometimes they keep pushing and they keep pushing. And the thing is, the moment you give them that real answer, the moment you tell them, the moment that you actually satiate what they've asked and you say the worst thing that you've seen as a paramedic or a firefighter or a police officer, and you actually truly give it to them, they look at you like you're a monster, like you've done something terrible and said the most offensive thing possible, even though what they've just did was ask you to relive one of the worst moments of your entire life. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matthew. I'm a former paramedic with almost 17 years of experience, and today we're going to be reacting to one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Rescue Me, starring the ever immortal Denis Leary. He portrays a firefighter, Tommy Gavin, and he's got PTSD out the wazoo, and that's why I thought this would be a fun one to kind of react to. Fun and PTSD don't really go together. But hey, here we are. I said it, and we're going to keep moving on because I didn't script any of this. This is just come along for the ride, folks. It's going to be a bumpy one. Yeah, this is one of my favorite scenes from a show because to me this really shows what it's like when somebody asks you to tell them the worst thing you've ever seen, right? Because you always get those civilians, those rubberneckers, those looky-loos, those people that are just, oh, you're a firefighter, you're a paramedic? What's the worst thing you've ever seen? As though it's just a dinner question, you know? Just a question that you ask Bill around the water cooler, you know, while you're waiting for some Xerox thing to finish printing on a stupid outdated ink cartridge printer at the office. It's not the same. Right? We don't exist in the same world. First responders and civilians don't exist in the same worlds. We inhabit the same world. We don't exist within the same world. And I found that this scene was one of the best sort of depictions of what we feel anger-wise inside of us as we're actually telling someone, if we ever get frustrated enough to actually tell them what it's actually like. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of look at this video together. And so we're gonna do that. All right, so here's the clip here to preface it. This is a therapist. She's been sent to the firehouse to talk to the guys because apparently there's some stats coming out about firefighters and stress and mental health related stuff. So, you know, the corporate tier of the firefighting department sent a therapist out to the firehouses, and she's kind of up against a wall here because, you know, nobody wants to really talk about their feelings. What we need to realize in this is that in the United States, firefighting and paramedics are kind of interconnected. They're interlinked, whereas in Canada, it's a little more segregated. We do have dual fire EMS services where you are a firefighter paramedic, but for the most part, they are two separate professions, paramedicine and firefighting. And in Canada, paramedics generally get paid fairly well. That's not the same across all provinces. It's not a universal thing, but it is seen as a profession, and it is seen as dissimilar to that of firefighting. But there is still a lot of inner politics and things like that. Certainly a lack of funding, and definitely a lack of mental health support because it's such a misunderstood profession. So this clip here, I just wanted to play it because it is something. Yeah, it's something else. It's pretty incredible. So let's just watch this here.
5 years ago, black kid, 10 years old. Pulled him out of a closet.
First things first, okay, before we go, I'm not going to keep pausing, but before we go, Denis Leary does a masterful job. I mean, chef's kiss job of portraying a burnout firefighting professional, somebody who's been in the shit. Somebody who has seen the stuff. I don't know if that is just tantamount to how good he is as an actor, or if he knows somebody in life that is a firefighter paramedic, or if he's been through stuff himself and he's just pulling that in for this role. I don't know. But he does a phenomenal job in this whole scene, you'll see.
Hot fire all around. He's burnt. He's scared. And he's slipping and sliding around in my arms like a goddamn baby seal. And I almost get him outside. And his skin, he's wearing nothing but underwear. And his skin comes off like wrapping paper off of a Christmas present. He slips right on my arms. He falls on the floor. Pick him up, get him outside. A few months later, he dies in the burn center. Three years ago, project fire, 6 stories up. 1-bedroom apartment, 15 people living in it. And I find a little girl, hurt pretty bad, holding a kitten. I bring it down, 6 stories, 6 goddamn stories. I'm switching my mask off with her and the kitten, and her and the kitten and me, her and the kitten and me. She's crying up at me the whole time, saying, "Please, Mr. Fireman, please save my kitten. Please don't let anything happen to my kitten, Mr. Fireman." And I'm biting my tongue, because I hate cats. I think they suck. I come from a dog family. Anyways, long story short, cat lived. She didn't. 9/11, we lost 4 guys from this house. One of them was my cousin Jimmy. My best friend. Best goddamn fireman I ever worked with. Good family man. Dedicated American, blah, 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 you know? And every day I gotta drive to work. I drive through my neighborhood. I see guys, drunken assholes that I went to high school with, who were standing in the corner, high, having a great time. And I gotta wonder why these assholes are still walking around when Jimmy Keefe ain't. My cousin the priest says it's because it's all part of God's plan, like God's got a plan. You know what? There is a God. He's got a whole shitload of explaining to do.
When people ask that question, when you ask that question to a first responder, to a paramedic, to a firefighter, police officer, you really are asking them to unearth an incredible amount of pain, a torrent of trauma. And it's for your own amusement. It's for story's sake. But it's not just a story. We have stories. We have stories we can tell you. We have funny stories. We have stories that we think are funny that you might not find funny, but we have stories that we can tell you. But that's like, it's such an inappropriate question, but it's seen as so appropriate to ask to a first responder because of just macabre curiosity. But it's like anybody walking up to you and at a social setting and you get to meet them for the first time and they say, "Hey, what was the worst day of your life?" Well, I understand. What was the worst day of your life? Just go ahead and tell me. Your dad died? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tell me that. Yeah. It's the same thing. You're asking the same thing, but you're asking from a place of ignorance. Because you really can't place yourself into those shoes unless you've actually walked in them. And it's not an elitist thing to say. It's not you could never understand the job because you've never done it. No. Like, you can understand certain aspects of the job. You can understand the stressors that they must endure, that we must go through. But if you still find yourself asking that question, thinking that you're deserving of an answer, then you are ignorant. There's no other way about it. You're ignorant. This job isn't just something that we go to, and calls aren't something that we just arrive at and then go home. There are those calls, the routine calls, but even calls that become routine to people like us are things that the everyday person would find emergent or almost incomprehensible with the type of mundanity that we frame it as. So when you ask that question, it does come with a very real heft of pain from the person who's beguiling you with that story. There's another clip in this show that I want to show you because it's sort of an artistic clip. It shows Tommy Gavin, shows the firefighter Tommy Gavin, and it shows him on the beach, and you get to see kind of his ghosts, the baggage he's carrying around. He's drinking and things aren't going well, but the show does a really good job of kind of depicting sort of PTSD, how it follows you. So we're going to take a look at that now too. That scene, for the longest time before, because this show came out long before I was diagnosed. I was actively working when this show first aired, and I remember because I was dating, who the hell was I dating at the time? Satan. I was dating Satan at the time, and I I remember the show came out and this scene came on. And I remember looking over, hoping that it connected with her the way it did me, that she would finally go, oh man, I can't believe that you're carrying all that around. I can't believe that this is what you go to work with. Are you okay? And when I look over, she's texting. I don't know who. She's texting. And I remember being so dejected at that moment because I'd been trying to talk to her about what was going on for a long time. Not because I truly understood what was happening to me, but because I had a rudimentary understanding that something was happening to me. You know, I was seeing Starker in grocery stores. Starker is a friend of mine who died in service. And I would see his likeness in the grocery store. I would see him at the end of aisles, and I still see Starker in grocery stores and in other public settings. And it's something that I've worked on and talked about in therapy, and something that I'll have to continue to work on and work through in therapy. But I remember shortly after that, I kind of explained, you know, I wish you would have watched that ending. You know, it's kind of stuff I wanted to tell you. And she was like, it's just a show. It's a show. What the hell? And yeah, it is a show, but it's also a segue. It's a lead in. It's a bridge for me to tell you, hey, I'm kind of fucked up. And we ended up getting into a fight about it, and it turned out that, you know, the texts they were from a guy that she was messing around with, and I got in the car and I drove down to the North Saskatchewan, and we had a big high level bridge in town, and I kind of did the same thing. I had a big ball of Johnny Walker Black, and I kind of just stood on the bridge sipping out of the bottle and looking out at the water and looking at the horizon and then kind of looking at the buildings, the glass sterile cutout of a modern city, and watching as the fading daylight kind of danced off the surface of the buildings. And then as it became night, the lights came on, and I started drinking with my ghost. And that scene replayed in my mind, because to me it was the first time I'd ever seen actualization of the things that I was feeling, the stuff I was carrying around. And so, as much as this is a show built for entertainment, and it is entertaining and it's hilarious and heartbreaking all at the same time, some shows really do come along and touch you and hit you and impact you to the point where somebody else might not fully be able to understand. They might not be able to get it, but it could act as a segue. It could act as a conversation piece, a kindling for further dialogue. And that's why I wanted to share this with you guys today, not just to react to a cool show that I liked back in the day, but also to kind of show that, there's a nuance to being a first responder, to being a paramedic. And there are certain boundaries that we draw, especially around the general populace and the civilian populace. But when you're burnt out, when your reserves are low, when your ability to defend your intellectual space is dwindling and weakened, yeah, we might bleed onto the public. We might bleed onto that person. We might actually tell that person really what the worst thing we've seen. But the thing about being a paramedic is there's never just one worst thing. That's the uniqueness about the job, is that there's never just one thing. I have stories I can tell you. And every police officer I've met, every firefighter I've met, every emerge nurse and emerge doc I've met has the worst stories, the worst days, the worst moments of their lives that they can retell for you, recount for you. But they shouldn't, and I shouldn't, and we shouldn't have to. Anyway, I'm just a generic white guy over the internet. What the hell do I know? Take care. Be well. Talk to you in the next one.